And welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hands, Quindy, Disembodied Beard, John, and Absentee Puppy. She'll show up later when she needs me for something. It is really the teenage phase. It totally is. It's so funny. It's so funny how similar Kiki is to a human kid. Thank God she doesn't have opposable thumbs. Oh my God. Anyway. Ta-da! How are y'all? I will be streaming on my own channel tomorrow, 3:30 USA Central Time. However, after that, I'm missing 2 weeks because we are on our way to Hawaii. So, just tomorrow will be the last stream for a couple weeks. I have to figure out a screen that I can put up. Also, must do screen to let people know that I won't be on. People who are not on this stream. And I don't know where a pen went there. Pen, haha. Screen for Twitch. Away. Back. There we go. I've got a long list of to-dos today that are just little annoying things that need to be taken care of. Hello. Hello, End. I couldn't even miss that. That's okay. The beginning was super accelerated. I wasn't particularly doing anything cool. Although look at Miss Princess showed up finally. Hi, Princess Girl. Hi, little teenage dog. Hi. Are you going to come up on my knee and say hi to the peoples? Are you? Yay! Okay. Oh, you almost fell off. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay. You're still almost falling off. Giant Dog says hi, everybody. Hi, Giant Dog. You're so giant. Oh my gosh. Except you're so tiny. You're so tiny. She's she's 25 inches at the level of her back, and she's like just barely 26 at her withers, I think, which is minimum a Shiloh size, but it's okay. You can be a teensy Shiloh. We're okay with that. We don't need no monsters. We don't need no bigger monsters than you. You're a big enough monster. You are. Yeah, go girl. All right, sweetheart. Time to work. Work. Good girl. Yeah, it's my good girl. It's my stress relief Kiki, right? Except when you're causing stress. Like, as you get older, you'll become more of a stress relief Kiki and less of a stressing Kiki. Yeah, Bubba girl. All right. Mama's gotta work. No, go get your chew. You've got a bully stick. Yeah, I'm back for the last couple days of the month, and then I'm gone again on that Thursday the 2nd. So I'm back for the 30th, 31st, and 1st. And then I have to run out to the dog, Shiloh Shepherd National, to hand off my responsibilities, many of them. I'm so excited. I wanted to step down out of my board position a year ago, and they're like, no, nobody else will do it. And I'm like, so yeah. So now I have somebody who is actually, I refuse to run for my position again, and they're running for my position, and they're welcome to it. So I'm looking forward to clearing the decks in many ways, guys, over the next month. Like, I really am to the point, like, at the beginning, it's funny, and this comes from my favorite writing coach, Becca Syme, but she's like, it's like, either keep the thing, question the thing. Question whether you really need to be doing the thing, or quit the thing is her thing. Keep, question, or quit. And that's true in everything from your work process to like the things that you commit to in daily life. So essentially, because I always feel so freaking busy, and I'm really getting at my age, I'm really sick of it. I want to have a couple things to focus on and not have to worry about extraneous stuff. So essentially I went through kind of my life and I looked at the stuff that I really just did not want to do anymore. Or that I was questioning. Like I questioned the board for a while because I was like, well, should I still be in a different board position? But I'm like, no, I just need to get this away. I just need to get it away for a while. I'm burned out. So I decided to quit the board. And I gave people plenty of notice that I was quitting the dog board. And I might be back in 3 years, but I want time to work on my writing. Like, pretty much the writing has moved in and the dog stuff has gotten kind of kicked to the side because the writing is more important to me. So essentially I want 3 years to work on my writing, get more books out, develop my writing career, see where there's at, work into a routine, and then maybe I'll join the board again if they want me. But yeah, so I'm quitting the dog board, and the other thing I'm actually going to deactivate at the end of the year is my coaching tier. On my Patreon, which was again a question, but it's been a stressor for a while. It doesn't really fit my ethic of teaching. It's weird because a lot of people make, like, Matt DiPietro makes a lot of money every month coaching people, right? That's what he focuses on. I know Aaron has a coaching tier, Lovejoy. You know, a lot of mini painters out there who are doing this for a living or as a side gig are making, are making the bunch of their money from coaching. But for me, I say it's against my teaching ethic because for me, teaching one person and spending a ton of time on an exhaustive PDF for one person doesn't sit right with me. I would much rather be putting that time into a cool PDF for all y'all on my Patreon, or for, at least a given tier, right, of 50 or 60 people, or doing a YouTube video where it's free for everybody and I can help a ton of people. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, biggest impact is where I'm at. And when I'm not doing that, it does not feel right to me in my heart. And so at first I had 5 coaching tiers. It was like 5 slots in my coaching tier. It is now down to 1. And that one is going to be done. So, and it's just, if you guys understand that, I don't know, but like, it's just it's part of me. Like, it's a section of my personality that seeks to have a bigger impact than just one person. I still enjoy dealing with people one-on-one, but if I'm going to do something, a big teaching effort, I would much rather impact a larger audience. So that is the other thing I am quitting at the end of this year. And that's going to feel so good. I'm going to actually unpublish it today, and that'll start to feel really good, because that essentially means that the person in there stays for now, but nobody else can sign up if they drop the tier. So, but yeah, coaching is cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not for me. It's just not the way that really is rewarding for me. So, and I have to pay attention to that. But it's sometimes you have to make the hard decisions on the keep, question, or quit. Like, there were definitely things that I was going to keep, like absolutely keeping all my other Patreon stuff, absolutely keeping my writing, absolutely keeping other stuff. Yeah, keeping the Reaper stream, right? But then there's a lot of just little stuff that just was still getting in the way. Yeah. All right. Cynthia, and I'm gonna do something right off the bat. I'm gonna glaze her boots because I'm not happy with the way the blue-gray is working with the violet. It needs to be darker. I'm actually gonna glaze the things that we painted in the Nightmare Black plus white, that dark blue-gray or gray-blue. I'm gonna glaze all of that with pure black or with dragon black, because that's what I've got to hand. But yeah, so if you're feeling overwhelmed in your own lives, you might try the keep, question, quit thing. Essentially, write down all the stuff you do regularly in your life, and then decide whether you really have to keep it, or question whether you need to keep it or quit it, and then the stuff you really need to quit. For you, not for anybody else, which is hard for some people, right? If you have a big sense of responsibility toward others, if you a lot of your happiness depends on helping others and helping make their lives better, that can be a hard call. Right? Luckily, I'm not like that. I'm such a loner sometimes. Seriously. I am very happy when I can hole up in my cave and do creative things. And streaming is awesome because then I get like all of you guys, which is because hanging out with friends is also awesome, right? But I get that while I'm hunkering down in my cave, so it's double awesome. Quitting paying rent immediately. Well, Quindy, obviously you need to find, obviously I need to become a best-selling author, make enough money, offer you a personal assistant position, and then essentially buy a giant house like George R.R. Martin does and just move you into it. Seeking personal assistant, free house provided. So all we need to do is make me a best-selling author and we're good. Simple, right? Great plan. Yeah. Yeah. You're in? All right, cool. I'll make a note. Like 5 years from now, if I start hitting it big. But would you stay in New Orleans or would you want to come to California? Like, for personal assistant stuff can be done from technically anywhere. Or do you want to move something? Like, where would you move, Quindy? If you could move anywhere, where would you move? Now I'm curious. Now this is just a personal question. Let me get my black up here. I'm just going to thin it down a little bit, and I'm going to move a little bit over to another well. Eek! And drop the mini. And, this is always a fun question, right? If you could live anywhere, where would you live? So I'm going to move a brushful over, drop a couple drops of paint into it. I think I'm pretty much where I am. Like, the only place I can think of that I would rather live, and I'm not really sure about that rather live, it's just kind of like a for me, is Hawaii. Ireland, you'd live in Ireland. Yeah, it is pretty gorgeous. And you'd be right by Cornico. Like, you could just hop over, hop over to the UK and hang out and visit. Would you live out on the west where the cool cliffs are? Or would you live, like, closer to Dublin? Or Glasgow or somewhere else? I didn't look at international. If I wanted to live somewhere international, I still think I'd be going tropical island, actually. I think. Although, let me think about this. If I could live anywhere. Because moving somewhere a little cheaper does have appeal. I don't know. I want to think about this. Oh, okay. Nice. Where your BFF is. Nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's beautiful. Like, the UK is beautiful. And Ireland, I really liked Ireland because I like rain. I was there, given I always go in the spring when I go to the UK, which is definitely like rain and sun intermixed. So, did we make this thin enough? That is going to color our surface a fair amount. You can see by how much it's coloring this. So, we don't have really any highlights now, but it is going to take almost everything down a level. We're going to keep a little bit of our blue, but it's going to put this layer over the top. So I have to ask, and this is what I would call a heavy glaze, guys. It's still kind of broken. It's still like got a bit of coffee staining going on when it dries, but it's nowhere near as thin as the glazes I usually do. The glazes I usually do are this. So colored water, very much colored water. See that? And then this actually still has body. You can see it, right? So this would be more like I would do if I was looking for a subtle effect. You'd have places all over declerment. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I do really like it here. Like, honestly, this is close to my ideal. Like, but I think if we could have had any house, like if David's like work wasn't a constraint, I would totally have gone in the mountains. I would totally have gone up into Los Gatos, which is just maybe 15 minutes from us, just up into the Santa Cruz Mountains, or maybe look around Tahoe, something like that, But I think I'm very close. I'm very close to, like, I really enjoy where I live. But yeah, I'd have to look at other countries because I wasn't really like I wasn't really opening that up in my head. I was thinking anywhere in the U.S. Although I do love Arizona too. So yeah, you got a point, D. Clearman. So I'd want a house in Arizona because for the winter, it's just so beautiful there in winter. And then then one in Hawaii, and then my main house here in California, and I'd be good. All right, so if we do this, we can now see. You see how little. This is why the well palette is really good. Well, also, if you try to mix a glaze on the wet palette, you won't really be able to... Like, you'll have to mix it and use it without being able to assess it that well, just because the instant you mix it, the water will be going one direction of the sponge or the other. But on the well palette, not only will it stay the consistency that you mix it to, but you can also judge, looking at how little it colors the surface, of how much it's going to hit this. Now, if you really want to take this blue down and take it like more dramatic, then use the heavier glaze. Although I'm thinking this is even just a little bit more heavy than I want, so I'm going to drop one more drop of water in. And that's more like what it looks like. I think that's where I want. You've had enough heat. You like cold. You're more the polar bear, and I'm definitely the more hot person. Yeah, winters are great. Yeah, my parents have a winter house in Arizona. They go down there right after Halloween, and they come back somewhere in either the end of March or early April, usually, green users, depending. Like, I've known them lately as the winters, like, there have been a couple of winters that just refused to end in Wisconsin, and they were staying in Arizona a little longer. They're waiting for the crappy weather in Wisconsin to go away before they come back. Like, honestly, I don't even mind 90, like, especially in a dry desert heat, 90, 95. So if I had an Arizona house, I'd be tempted to go a lot of the year, just not in the hottest parts. Because let's face it, a lot of the year in Arizona, once you get past that brutal heat, a lot of the year is actually pretty nice if you're a hot weather person, right? Especially in the evenings when it starts to cool down. I just love desert. I can't help it. Four real seasons. You could look at Wisconsin, Twisted Oma. Although, actually, you know what? If it came down to 4 real seasons, because Wisconsin definitely had a less of a fall, I would say East Coast. Where I lived in Maryland, which was north of Baltimore, but, like, driving down to see friends who were just over the border in Virginia, the falls out there are amazing and long. And so is the spring is also. And you get a real summer, and you usually get snow. And I don't know, like, about healthcare in, like, Maryland and Virginia, but, I mean, it sounds like that would be, like, your, I mean, they're probably decent? No idea. Anyway, so we're going to take this, you can see that I took it down, right? You can see that its original dirty ring is around here. But now, after I've added a little bit of water, it's much lighter here. And this is acceptable. So that was about 3 to 4 drops of water into a big brush full of thin black. Santa Fe is really nice. Yeah, Santa Fe is wonderful. And the food. I mean, come on. You like Virginia? Yeah, I lived in Virginia when I was a tiny baby, and that's all. But I lived when I lived in Maryland, I did really like my friends lived in Virginia, so we would drive down for paint club. And so that was really fun. That was really nice. And I did like Virginia. It was expensive. My cousin lives there. She lives in Arlington. She works for the government. But yeah, Virginia was really nice. My parents enjoyed Virginia too. They lived there for a few years till they moved back up to the Midwest proper. Hey, Kodiak, thanks for the resub. 19 months. Thank you. All right, so let's apply this glaze. But yeah, Santa Fe is a great town. Like, they roll up the sidewalks at like 9 or 10 p.m., usually 9. But one of my favorite restaurant, like if I had one restaurant in all of the world that I have gone to, that if I could, I would transplant to be in my town, it's one in Santa Fe. And it's not even a Santa Fe cuisine restaurant. It is a West Indies, African, Jamaican fusion restaurant. But it's freaking amazing. I make a point of eating there every time I go through Santa Fe. I am never disappointed. It's just jaw-dropping amazing. And it's also like a local secret. Like, it's not downtown where all the touristy stuff is. It's out in one of those big mall strips. Not an indoor mall, but an outdoor mall, like the kind that have a Best Buy in them. It's out there, and so if you know about it, it's really good. So, like, that restaurant alone might be enough to get me. Well, and I have friends in Santa Fe. So it is really nice. And you've got big city. You've got Albuquerque just under an hour away. So bigger city, I should say. All right, let's try to glaze this. Let's try it on the inner boot first. We're since we haven't really done a lot of highlighting, we've only kind of shaded down. We don't have to worry about covering up a lot. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shade the boots with this, but maybe not the kitty. The boots and the staff. You like Iowa? Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful parks. I mean, we have a lot here too. Yeah, but you could live outside of one of those bigger cities, just a little outside. I mean, that's like when I was in Denton, right? I actually went down to Dallas and Arlington for my health care, and it was a little drive, right? It was 45 minutes, 50 minutes, but I had access. It wasn't undoable. But yeah, there definitely are a lot of the nice places to live are a little more pricey. That's the way to, and especially nowadays, where house prices have gone so crazy. In some of the areas that used to be cheaper. David forwarded me an article just yesterday about how Texas prices have shot up. And I'm not surprised because I remember right before I moved, my landlord at that time, because I was renting a house in order to have Leo and Kiri, but my landlord at that time was like, if you stay, we're jumping the rent for $200 a month. I'm like, bye. Because prices were already, when I looked, and this has changed now too because Sacramento has gotten more expensive, but at the time I looked, I was looking at originally at moving out here just to move out here and not living with David right away. But when I looked at places, at renting houses in Sacramento, it was the same as it was in Denton, which is insane. So yeah, it's definitely some places that used to be less expensive are no longer. Yeah, there's bound to be somewhere else with a similar vibe, but it's finding it, right, Dabber? Like somewhere else in the world has that vibe. I think vibes travel. Maybe in time, like particular vibes will totally disappear, but I'd hate to think that. I'd like to think that some vibes live forever. They're just like, they relocate. Like vibes are sentient beings. That would be pretty cool. What would happen if like a small Midwestern town just got a magic vibe out of nowhere just because conditions were right and the vibe moved out of some other place and it was looking for a new home? That would be a cool story idea. Wouldn't be a novel, I don't think. I'm putting the black into the kitty for shading, but I'm not going to do an overall glaze because remember, one of the things I was worried about was the kitty standing out from the boots. By doing the overall glaze on the boots and on the staff too, but on the boots, the kitty now looks like he's a different color, and I like that. Estes Park is beautiful. All right, so yeah, so we're gonna take this black and we're just using it to shade our little kitty a little bit. I'm gonna shade around his face. Kind of put in some shadows where they would be, and get the eyes and the ears. And a little nose. Alrighty, let's get that lining in. There's a little bit of a gap between the skin tone. There. Clean that up. Now I'm going to mix up my Nightmare Black. We're going to finish the highlights on these boots. And we'll do some highlights in the kitty too. See, I have no nostalgia for the Wisconsin I grew up in. I've always felt, from a kid, I've had a hard time finding a place that felt right, that felt like home for me. Wisconsin wasn't it. I was allergic to the whole state. But I feel like California is, for me, at least this area of it, feels pretty good. See, Quindy, if I relocated you to Ireland, as my personal assistant, my very well paid personal assistant, then I'd have an excuse to fly to Ireland on the regular to see you and check in, right? Right? Best reason for an out of country personal assistant I've yet heard. Oh, honey, I've got a business trip coming up. Yeah. Well, first we need to make a lot of money, so we'll have to put that on number 1. Unlike the Underpants Gnomes from South Park, where making tons of money was the magical end state. Probably dating myself, but I did enjoy South Park. You think this works out perfectly? Well, every good writer who makes it at all needs a queen of no, as Neil Gaiman called it. Which is the personal assistant who will essentially face all of the people who want the writer's time and say no in the nicest, politest, but firmest way. Because otherwise, the writer ends up doing all of this stuff that isn't writing. And so I have taken this to heart, and if I ever make it big, I need a queen of no. I suppose it could be a king of no. I won't be too, but I think you'd be perfect for that job, Quindy. You're pretty good at smacking people around on stream, so when it's necessary. You love the underpants. I love the underpants gnomes too. Steal underpants. Step 2. ... Step 3. Make lots of money. You love telling people no. See? There we go. I've got my queen of no, everybody. Now I just need to get famous. We'll just have to write the next book and the next book and the next book. That's the only way. So we've got these little wrinkles here, and I've kind of just hit them with V's, but I do need to blend them in a little bit. So I'm actually going to do that with my black, since I've used my black as a shader already. I may want to glaze the ends of them. I don't want them to be too over the top. Like, I want these V's because they are sculpted in, the wrinkles down the front of the boots. But I do also need to make sure they're not too crazy. They need to show up. Like, that's good right there. They need to show up because we need to highlight them, but we don't want the whole, like, this huge, we don't need a huge bold like it was before. This is good. This is kind of subtle. You still see the stuff. Alrighty. So we've got those highlights both places. Here we can just see a little bit, so we're just going to dab little highlight on those. That's good. I think I'm going to hold off highlighting this kitty until I've got higher highlights. Nice, Mad Teabagger. Nice. Yep. October is a great month to order from Reaper. Because you get the ghoulie bag. If you didn't know. And now you have Nightmare Black. And Dungeon Slime. 2 amazingly useful colors. Alright, so let's punch this up another level. Mixing brush, where are you? Oh, really? Are they out of it already? Because I was going to maybe order, but it's later in the month, so I could see. And then again, I don't really need candy. I thought about it for a second. I'm like, ooh, free candy. Then I'm like, you could just walk down to the store and buy it. I'm going to take a brush full of my blue color, and then I'm going to add 2 drops of pure white to it to make a much lighter blue-gray highlight. I might actually highlight Kitty with a different color. We'll see. They didn't hit it being low? Okay. Yeah. I need to take paint inventory, and I'm resisting it. I know I have random bags of paint everywhere that I need to deal with. So I dropped a couple drops of water in there, but that's not going to be enough to have this really blend. So I'm going to drop another big brush full of water. It's probably 2 regular drops in there. We'll see how that does. I'll put my Reaper order. I do want to look at the newer minis and see. Is that Dragonborn that there was a it was a digital sculpt, or I think it was a 3D print sculpt, the Dragonborn. They were showing it. Christine showed it to me at ReaperCon, and it was supposed to, I think, be a mini of the month, but I haven't seen anything, and I keep checking. Does anybody know if that is out? Hey, Richard. Oh yeah, I have that Blorf graphic. I suppose I need to put Zazzle store up. I need to look in the Zazzle store and see what I need to do. Adding to list. We can put up the Painting Big logo, which is the cool dragon. And we can put up the Blorf. I was thinking mugs and t-shirts. Any other product you guys want? Like, I don't know, maybe they just like put everything up. Yeah. How's it going, Richard? We were just discussing that if when I become a famous writer, I'm going to need a personal assistant. So of course I'm going to hire Quindy and relocate her. And so she says she wants to go to Ireland. So that's like, you're out in the UK, aren't you? See, so many people on the stream are actually over in that neck of the woods. So I'm just putting a little bit of highlight here just to bring out those upper female dragon folk. Oh, slated for November 1st. Sweet. Thanks. I really want that model. I want to do it on stream. We haven't ever done a dragon folk on stream. I've done one for my paint along, a dark sword one, on the Patreon. But it was a nice sculpt, and I really want to paint it. So I'm just doing more of the whatever folds I feel are going to be hit more, And the ones that are kind of in the direction of the light aren't going to be hit as much. So I'm accentuating the ones that are more facing up a bit. So I need a personal assistant. That's only if you're a really, really rich writer. If you're a really, really rich writer, then you've got a PA for your PA. Nice, but a bit empty. That's the charm of it, I think, Richard. I think. Quindy has shown herself to be highly competent. A highly competent and caring individual. And I like those people. That's exactly what I would want for a personal assistant. A lot of writers do get personal. Joking aside, a lot of writers do hire personal assistants if once they get to a certain point. Just because there's so much to juggle when you get to a certain point. And you're wearing all the hats when you're a little writer like me. And then you really, really, really want some of your hats to get off of your head at some point. Or you run out of time to write. There we go. So we've got that. These are coming up now. You can see they're looking more shiny. So to get them super shine, I need to go up to pure white. Get that rich, please, Anne. All right. You know, I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. I have to work through any hang-ups I have about it. That's my self-helper informs me. We don't realize sometimes all the hang-ups we have about money until we really start to start to look at ourselves. You would send your job application into Quindy in this hypothetical case, yes. Yeah, the hats do get a little top heavy and tilty at a certain point. I mean, if you think about everything that an independent author like me has to do, you know, everything from you know, planning, like managerial type stuff to the marketing stuff to just keeping track of everything to, you know, when you do get to a certain point, you have people contacting you about, you know, going and doing a talk at a con or, you know, any number of things, right? And just that you just need somebody. Plus writing, plus just organizing your day and writing. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Checking your ads and your sales periodically to make sure nothing is weird. Oh boy. So with that punchy white, you can see, boom, suddenly that starts to look shiny. We need a little bit more out here of the blue, I think. Don't want to miss the side of the knee there. Although we do have a little bit of this hang over here, so. See, Richard, you'd be, I'd hire you as, like, my personal, like, editor. Like, you'd be my developmental and, because you're so good at spotting those plot direction points. It would probably only be a part-time gig, though. I don't think I can write that fast. That's where you would fit into my hypothetical rich writer workload. So little tiny pinpoints of white down the middle, or if your leg is out, it'll be a little bit more toward the side. Help to make the boot shiny looking. I want to tone that down a little bit. Those got a little bit too dotty. When you're doing like wrinkles, making them little tiny stripes is really where you're at. You want to be the Pizza Dungeon mascot. Well, they have talked to Reaper about that. I don't know if they have the dragon suit. You could come to Paint Club and terrify all the small children. When you're a mascot, take it from me, because I've done this. One of the jobs I've had in my life. But you definitely want to be the scary, terrifying mascot. You do not want to be the huggy, friendly mascot. You want to be the mascot when the parents ask you to get in a picture, the kids are giving the side eye to. That's what you want. Right, Richard. Well, I got to be Wile E. Coyote when I worked at Six Flags as a teenager. And like that was my monster. That was my mascot. Like I wanted Wile E. Everybody else knew it. And they would absolutely like there were various like we all had our favorites. Like there was one guy who just had the energy to do Bugs Bunny. Absolutely had it. And then there was one guy who just really loved doing the Donald Duck. And various, you know, like we had a girl who loved to be Sylvester because she liked to cuddle the kids, and Sylvester was a really cuddly costume because he was a cat, so he was all furry. But Wile E was always that was the costume that like the little kids were like scared of because you're a coyote, right? You got this long nose, these glary eyes. It's great. Payment and store credit for Reaper. No, we're talking about Crow's aspires to be the dungeon pizza dungeon mascot. We were talking about how I'm going to hire when I become a rich famous author. I'm going to hire Quindy to be my personal assistant, and Richard to be my developmental editor, part-time. And then Crows said he just wanted to be the Reaper pizza dungeon mascot. And I said I couldn't help with that, but. All right, so we've got boots that are much shinier now. Look at that. Boom, pow. That's what going dark to light does when you've got your highlights, right? And actually, I'm still not happy with these little stripes, so I'm going to do them over. Well, it hasn't said that it's collecting data for the giveaway since he did the hashtag freeze, so I would assume that it's turned off. But, you know, assume is... not always the smart thing. Oh, go subscribe to Luca so you can use the... Yes. Yes. Well, you'd think so, except they're in Texas, which means that most times of the year when you step outside in your dragon costume, you instantly melt. You can still be inside in your dragon costume. We used to have to do walks in the Wisconsin summer, which you might think was pretty tame, but there were definitely some 90-degree days, and it's humid. And when you're in a furry costume, all the Disney costumes were all snaz and had giant fans in their costumes, or giant for compared to what we got, which was zip. Oh, he didn't close it. Oh, it's stealthy on. I see. Oh, stealthed. Stealthed free. Oh my gosh. Well, keep on begging. I mean, it's a dream, right? Chase your dreams, Crow. Alright, so now, what am I going to do with this cat? What am I going to do with it? I know. I'm going to give him a little white face. Giving him a little white face will bring out his expression and features. Just like dark-skinned people, dark-furred animals is really hard to to have their features show, right? Like, because especially when they're as tiny as the kitty. So putting some markings, I need to see where I am. Putting in some markings on the kitty is a good idea. So I'm using my thinned white, and I'm just kind of bringing those in. I'm inclined to think that if you chase your dreams, you're going to end up somewhere interesting. So we've got our little kitty cat. But yeah, I think once I've quit these last few things, I think I'm actually going to feel a lot better about the amount of work I have for myself. Less things to worry about means more ability to focus on the things that I keep. And things like doing a Zazzle store, like that's pretty fire and forget, all things considered. So that's easy. So I'm just doing some little marks around the kitty's face. I'm going to give him a little pink nose, I think. So I'm going to highlight the nose. Boop. And then I've got to get some pink. Now I'll give him a little white chest too. And on the chest, you don't have enough room to get really elaborate, but try to, if you leave brush marks, try to make them look like fur. Have them grow in the direction of the fur, if you can. I could also give him little white paws. Hey, Thormel. Little kitty paws. And more little kitty paws. Well, maybe I'll just make the front paws. So the back paws are shorter here. Little back paws. So little white paws on our kitty. Yeah, the thing that people like neglect to say about when they tell kids to chase their dreams is that chase your dreams, but be aware, chasing your dreams is really hard work. Like, chasing your dreams sounds like it should be fun and interesting and, like, you know, effortless. But really it's not. Really it's like you're chasing this thing up a really steep mountain with boulders crashing down around you. Alright, I'm going to do a little bit of red, a fire red, I think, on that nose, which is probably going to come off as pink because it's so small. Yeah, and it's the perfect time of year, Butts, to paint this model. Little pink nose onto kitty. I need to get the eyeballs. Yeah, everybody's always so flippant about dream chasing, but it is actually a lot of slog. Ask me how I know. Having had 2 dream jobs now. 3 dream jobs, technically. And Reaper was my dream job for a long time. And then the Patreon is totally, working as a freelance miniatures person is totally a dream job. And then the writing is also a dream job. So I've had several dream jobs. And getting the one at Reaper was easy, but executing it to the best of my ability on the one at Reaper was a lot of work. There we go. So we have little white inside of his ears now. He's got little white paws. Oh, we need a white tip on his tail. Yeah, all the dream jobs. I've just never been a normal job kind of person. In case you didn't get that from me working as an amusement park mascot. I had a normal job for 1 year, and then I quit it to go become a freelance miniature painter. Oh, because it was too soul-killing, and I couldn't do it anymore. White tip on the tail for the kitty. Yeah, my dad was always complaining about my taste in jobs, but you know what? I'm pretty happy right now. Even more happy when I jettison the last couple things that I don't want anymore. All right, so we've got enough. We can see our kitty's face, which is good. We need his little eyeballs. So I'm going to paint them white, and then I'm going to go over them with green. Which probably won't show up until you get really close. But that's okay. But with eyes this little, you definitely need to, if you're going to do them yellow or green or whatever, you definitely need to put the white down first. Because it's such a small area that it won't read correctly if you don't. Lumos is a great name for a cat. There we go. I want to trim up the little snout here. There. Put a little more shadow in here. And then we'll get the little eyes. Green. I need a bright green. Probably going to use Naga. I feel like one little tiny well here is bunking the holiday season and turning to Christmas because I've put down my dots of green and green and red on my white, on either side of my white. It's not Halloween. That one little well is like Christmas. All right, we get our little bit of green. We'll put it over the top of the white. Hey, Keekers. How you doing? Hi. Are you going to let me paint this eyeball, or are you going to be a silly long nose who wants attention? Hi, silly long nose. Hi. You want attention, huh? I have to stop painting just for a minute, just to pet my Kiki dog. Is that it? Hi. Hello. How are you doing? Bored? Are you bored? Are you giving me sweet face? It's not time yet, you know. It's not time yet. No. Are you going to show the peoples? Are you going to show the peoples? Yeah, there's a Kiki. I got you. There. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Kiki says, I would like to take over this stream, please. I would like to take over this stream. Would you like my seat? You don't like my seat because it moves too much. Yeah. Yeah. Mwah. Such a good girl. Oh, do you want to snuggle? Okay, hold on. Let me get your paws. No, got to snuggle her. Oh, oh. There we go. Now I've got to snuggle her. She's got her paws over my arm. Hi, is this your favorite? Is this your favorite? This is what Daddy's jealous about, because you snuggle me all the time, and he doesn't get snuggles. He doesn't get snuggles. Yes. Oh, snuggles. Oh, please don't lick my glasses, you dingo. Good girl. Okay. I gotta work. I gotta work, Kiki. I do. I've gotta work. Yeah. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, Keekster. Work. Okay? Can you go settle for a little bit longer? We have about half an hour. Half an hour. It's Friday, though. It's Friday. It's almost fun time. Yeah, it's almost fun time when yeah, I know. You're such a good girl. I think she's going to be in heat. Like, she's due to come into heat right about the time we go to Hawaii. So I was hoping she would hold off, and I'm still hoping. But the fact that she's getting more clingy is generally a sign, if you know what I mean. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, Mama's got to work. Go lay down. Go settle. But it is adorable when she wants lap time. Because she does it to me and she does not do it to David. Trash. When you're getting hormonal trash. Oh dear. Okay, let's not go there. Oh man. She is a cutie. She still has dingo puppy moments, like, especially in the morning. And she always, she dingos David a lot, but she also has some really sweet moments. Trying to just get that eyeball done right. Yeah, I've got enough. It's close to her, so we've got a green eyeball. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, Quindy, sorry. Oh, 3 huskies. Yep. You have a pack. I want to outline the bottom edge of this eye. There we go. Better. All right, so we've got our kitty. Our kitty is looking pretty good. I do want one more highlight on the nose. The nose isn't showing up for me. So I use my thinned white and maybe pick up a tiny bit of the red. But I mostly want a pink off-white. There we go. Now we have a really light pink. And now I want to just do some fur texture. And I think what I'm going to do is use my off-white. I'm going to thin it a little more. Just a little more. I already have it really thin, as you all know. But all I want to do is do a little bit of fur texture around the face. Yeah, we've had 0 success in getting the roof guy who did our roof, who essentially we're under warranty. 0 success getting that guy. Like, if he still hasn't called me when we're back from Hawaii, or by the time we're back from Hawaii, I am tempted to leave him a not so nice review. I'll do a follow-up call, but what it kind of sounds like is like that maybe they used to do smaller jobs, but they've transitioned to doing bigger jobs. And probably the fact that we're under warranty, so they can't really make any money off of us, may be contributing. So there we go. So just a couple little brush strokes to bring out the ruff of fur around the face of the kitty. And then I want to do that also to bring out some of these other areas. And if this is too strong, then I'm going to glaze it. But I want to get the kind of the furry texture in there. So, but I don't want a lot of fur texture. I just want a little bit to suggest the limbs here. And some areas you can see a little bit of white. Like if the kitty has a white underbelly, you can see a little bit of white maybe being down on the back of the leg here or on the front of the leg here. So it's not far-fetched. But I do want to probably bring it more into line. But I want to glaze because I want to keep the suggestion of that, just to keep the bits of the kitty separate so you can see the different parts. All right, and then we'll do a little bit of fur here. All right, now I'm going to do glaze. Yeah, close to going home time is good. Hey, Roger. I am going to build a glaze partially with the blue and partially with the black. And I want, wow, this just, I put down a new paper and it's like super wants to get stuck in. So this is my glaze. I'm going to thin it a little bit more. There. I'm going to use that to go over the kitty, just over the spots that I don't want to actually be white. So this is one way. This is essentially underpainting. And this will essentially dull down those areas. But you'll still be able to see a little bit of highlighting. Kitty. There. All right. Excellent. I'm happy with that. I'm still gonna, I think I'm gonna do the wood of the staff like I did the leather on the other model, where I'm gonna go over it with the brown that I'm working with on these. So, in that case, let's grab Harvest Brown. And this time I put my Harvest Brown where I could find it again, right next to the actual colors I want to use it with. Yeah, yep, apartment. Whatever is cheapest, and you have zero say. Yep, yep. Yeah. Well, that's nice. At least it's an improvement, Quindy. So because the Harvest Brown is so translucent, I am actually going to add a tiny bit of white to it. And by a tiny bit, I mean you don't need much, people. This white is really thin though, so I'm going to add a little bit to it because I did thin it way down for the kitty. Let's grab a little bit of that. Tiny bit, like get most of it off your brush. Like really, just like that much. You want to add a little bit of opacity to the Harvest Brown without changing its color very much, but just a little bit goes a huge long way. People don't understand how little you actually need of that. I did a Patreon thing on this. Trust me, very little. Yeah, online service tickets are nice. My windshield got fixed and it's all nice and shiny. It's so shiny. That won't last long. There's enough crap in the air here. It'll get dusty in no time. That's why I don't bother, like, most of the time I don't bother going to the car wash, because it's like, My car will look shiny for 3 days. And then more pollen, dust, stuff is just going to adhere to it. Now I know why people who have nice cars use car covers in this neighborhood. There's just a lot of trees that drop mung whenever the wind picks up. So I'm going to go in with this brown. I'm going to start kind of picking up a little bit. You can see how the color shifts when I start popping that over the top. Because technically, this is a complementary color. Harvest brown is very orange and we're putting it over a blue-gray. And I'm going to look at the sculpted wood grain and I'm going to try to generally hit it, but you don't have to be perfect precise with it. And we still have not painted the pumpkin stem and the broomstick, but we'll probably get to those next time. Next week. And we haven't highlighted our icy violet back here either. Alrighty. That's good. So this is cool because although we are introducing brown tones, we still have a little bit of that blue shadow, see? So we're keeping that color a little bit. So it'll still like interact with our boots and our kitty in a positive way. There. All right, cool. Excellent. How much time do you have? We have 15 minutes. Sounds like leather time. Oh, and I was going to do those little snippy things. What color do I want to do those snippy things? I'm going to think about it. I'm going to hold off the snippy things. I'm going to put them, actually, I'm going to get them in white, I think. Well, maybe not. Thinking. I'll put them in brown real quick and then we'll work with them later. And not putting a coat of white down before I paint over these little ties with brown means they're going to stay dark. Means that they're not going to pop. If I had undercoated with white, they would be very orangey, much like the leather here. But I don't necessarily want them that bright. I want them dark because they're really not, supposed to grab your attention. And it gives more contrast if I keep them dark. Kiki, you dropped a giant hair into my paint palette. We're very close on this model, guys. Or maybe I'll do pumpkin. I'm going to do pumpkin. I'll do whatever I feel like, right? And And make sure that seam goes all the way down. We've got a nice line there to demark the two. Yeah. Right, so as you recall, the natural highlight of pumpkin or of harvest brown is the next one in the triad, which is orange brown. And I mean, highlighting pumpkins is super easy because these colors make it super easy. And then you can go up a little bit brighter orange if you want to. Usually, though, I would just mix some brighter orange and like white into the orange brown, and you'd end up with a perfect pumpkin color. Yeah, orange brown is great. It's like a lovely color for highlighting leather, and it can be good if you're dealing with like a stained wood effect that you want where it's very warm. It can be a good highlight for stained wood. It can be a great color for, obviously, pumpkins. I probably have used it most often for leather, but you can also use it as a red hair highlight, which we will eventually do. It's got great coverage. It's actually quite a saturated orange, even though it may not immediately look like it. It's brighter than you think it is. So we're just going to paint some highlights over the top. And pumpkins are pretty smooth, so, I mean, you don't put a lot of texture. I usually will just kind of do a linear layering in the direction of the bands. I'm going to go down to where I have my shadow start. I'm going to just pick up the bottom parts of the mouth here. A lot of the area on the front of the pumpkin is just going to get covered up a little bit by this orange brown for the first layer. I've kept the eyes dark, but I could make them come to life if I wanted. I'm going to keep the mouth dark. It'd be difficult, but it's doable to do glowing